Hello everyone. Hi Morgan. Hello, hi Justin. Yes, we're live. Today I'm just going to share with Dane and maybe potentially Hans, because he's interested in our Kaleido M2 sniper. So I'm just going to share with my friends here how I usually do my roasting and the parameters you can set on this M10 Sniper Pro, right? So today I'm going to use the M10 Sniper Pro. We're just going to wait for a short while longer, and I'm going to invite Dane. Right, hi Andre. Okay, I'm using a stand here, so it's kind of difficult. Let me get rid of so that I can see your chat. Right, this is basically hi Andre. This is actually my uncle's apartment, right? So this is actually the kitchen area. There's actually a window at the back, which means when I do roasting. Hi Kelly. Right, that means when I do coffee roasting, I can actually vent out the exhaust, and if I'm doing cooling of the coffee beans, I can actually also vent out the exhaust through the window over here. And technically it is not very smoky when you do roasting for about 1 kg. And just to do a quick introduction, this is actually the so-called home use coffee roaster, right? This roaster runs on electrical power, uses infrared tube. Let me see whether I can get Dane to join us. Is Dane around? Because I'm actually doing this to show him how I normally do my coffee roasting. So let me know, is Dane around? Right, so today it's going to be slightly longer because I'm going to do two batches of coffee roasting. One batch I'll be doing it by manual, and I'll be using Artisan to do it. The second batch I will use roasting profile, which I pre-recorded to do the roasting. Right, and I'm going to share with Dane how I actually maintain the temperature. Right. Hello. Hi Hoon. Hi Thomas. My friends over there, can you help me check whether Dane is online? Because I'm trying to get Dane to come on. Did Dane did a coffee tasting with Hans just now? So if you have any questions while we wait, you can actually ask, right? Because I'm waiting for my friend to come on, right? So that I can do some explanation of how each of those things I usually do to create a sort of more balanced and a complete roasting, we call it. Because it is important to have complete roasting so that the core of the coffee bean is actually completely roasted. No tasting tonight? I see. So probably Dane is still sleeping. Okay, so I think I will get started. There are 3 switches at the back of this M10 Sniper Pro, right? It does, the M2 also comes with 3 switches, which means you can actually do a complete manual roasting by using an LCD touchscreen monitor. That's the old model. The new model comes with a pad, I think it's a 7-inch or 10-inch pad, whereby you can actually use the pad to control. So it's pretty much artisan based. And you can see that my laptop is here. Later I'll bring you closer to see how I do the setting on my laptop. Okay, so why not we just get started, right? I will bring you closer to the my computer. Right, so right now you can see my reflection here. Basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to start the software. I'll be using the M2 profile because it is easier to manipulate. So now I'll be controlling everything by using Artisan. So please be patient with me today because it's going to be slightly longer. Okay, so now the Artisan has come on, and the first thing you have to do is before you can actually use Artisan to control your roaster, you have to make sure that your Bluetooth COM port is actually communicating with your roaster. The easiest way to check a COM port is actually to check your Bluetooth COM port setting. Right, check for the outgoing port so that you know that's how the laptop sends signal to your Artisan. Your onboard computer, which is inside the M10 Sniper Pro. So that's how the Artisan on my laptop sends signals to the roaster actually. So right now I have to do some setting. So I have to go to configuration, and then you can check the device. Right, under device, the Sniper uses TC4 to do roasting. Hello Linda. Right, and normally for filters we will be setting at 95% level. That's recommended by factory, and then you click OK. It will divert you to a port, and normally my COM port for my M10 Sniper is COM6. So you just have to type COM6 and then you click OK. And then after that you can click on to switch on the Artisan. Right, and once your COM is connected, it will show that the temperature is displayed. These are the two thermocouple props that is connected inside the M10 Sniper Pro, which record live temperature. So the most important thing here is actually the BT. Right, BT is actually the bin temperature. Right, this is the BT, and this is the changes in BT. I think a lot of the technical jargon used by the coffee roasting is known as the ROR, which is the rate of rise. So change in BT is the same as rate of rise, and later on you'll see that I'll be trying to control this rate of rise at about 12 to 13 to maybe maximum about 14. Right, when I do the initial stage of roasting, which is to raise the temperature from normal room temperature to about 130 to 140 degrees Celsius until I reach the drying phase. So basically that's the plan. And okay, so now I'll be warming the machine up. So this is how I actually do the warming of machine. Right, you can see that there's an SV here. This SV is something like temperature that you set, the maximum temperature that the roaster can go to. So right now I'm roasting about 1 kg batch, so I'll be increasing the SV to about 185. So that will be my drop temperature. Right, so I just have to slide the bar up all the way to, okay, I'll put it at 180. Right, then I'll click PID on. And the moment I switch on PID, right, the roaster will start to heat up and maintain the temperature around 180 degrees Celsius. And of course I have to start the drum as well. Let's start the drum. Okay, let me bring you closer to see the roaster. Right, you can see that it's actually heat inside the roaster. You can see that it's heating up, and the drum has already started rotating. Right, so everything is now controlled by Artisan. I'm no longer using the touchscreen monitor because the new batches of M10 Pro all uses the LCD or some sort of a pad, something like a PC that Bluetooth connect to the M10 Pro or the M2 Pro. They are no longer using the older models such as the LCD touchscreen. So right now I'm actually using the PID, right? So I'm using PID to control the temperature. So you can see that now my heater is at 100%, and you'll try to heat up. So you can see that now my bin temperature is rising to about 66 degrees Celsius. The rate of rise per minute is about 37 degrees per minute. So it's pretty fast. This machine is a beast and it can roast really quickly. Right, so while waiting for the roasting, for the roaster to heat up, if you have any questions, right, you can actually ask me. I don't know why Dane is not online today. If any of you wish to join me, you can, right? Just request to join and we can have a chat. Because now I'm still waiting for the roaster to get to temperature. So let me know if you have any questions or if you're interested again into roasting, right? Okay, it's heating up probably quite well. Now we are already at 104 degrees Celsius. The ambient temperature is about 35 degrees Celsius, Andre. Singapore is pretty warm. We are summer all year round. Sure, Kelly. Right, we are summer here all year round, so which means to say it's pretty much 35, 36. Yeah. Normally we are having a temperature about 33 to 34, so this is pretty much. Okay, I haven't announced the beans I'm roasting. The first batch of beans I'm doing roasting will be the Colombian. Right, I'll be roasting it to a slightly darker region before the first crack. So I'm planning to roast 1 kg of the beans, and then I'm probably going to drop about 1.5 minutes after first crack. So that's the plan for the first batch of coffee beans. And I have installed a tray here. Right, this tray here, I'm not too sure whether it will fit this properly. Later on, I'm going to try to open the drop bin hopper. Right, I'm not too sure whether all the beans will actually land inside here, or you may have some that's drop out. I will just give you a try first. Yep, so I didn't, Kelly is okay, I didn't actually announce what beans I'm going to roast today. I'm going to roast two types of beans today. The first one is the Colombian, which I'm going to do manual adjusting of temperature. The second one, I'm going to do a Yunnan Red Wine series. Okay, he's busy with your customer, no problem. Yep. I will be putting up this later on the record so that Dane can actually catch it later on. Yep, so right now we are already at 162 degrees Celsius. So this machine heats up really fast. And it is infrared based. So pretty much once the temperature is steady at about 185 or 180 degrees Celsius, I'll start to drop the beans. So let me go and get the beans first, right? Just give me a second, I'll be right back.
There's scratches on the back, yes. I don't consider this back.
Alright, sorry for waiting. Yeah, so sure, we'll wait for Dane. And anyway, I'm going to roast the second batch. So this is actually the Colombian beans. I think I have to check the bag for the reading, but this is actually the micro lot beans from Colombia. Right, so I'm going to roast to be slightly towards the darker region, slightly on medium side. So right now the temperature is steady at about 182, right? So you can see that that's how the PID work. So normally I do not have to monitor the temperature. I can set the limit at which the roaster can go to, and then once I set, let's say 185 degrees Celsius, I just have to hit the PID button and the computer system will actually maintain the temperature at 185 and I don't have to monitor it. So it will not go too high or too low. It will maintain at around plus minus 2 degrees Celsius. Right, so right now it is 182, right? So first thing first, before you go on to the actual roasting, right, you have to switch off the PID, right? Because if you maintain the PID when you go on to the roasting part, the temperature will be kept at the limit at which you previously set. So therefore, remember to switch off your PID. Yeah, I guess so, because Canada is really quite cold. So normally for mine, I'm only doing a 500 gram for the first batch. So 180 degrees Celsius is more than enough. Normally, if I do a 300 gram batch, my drop temperature is only about 170 degrees Celsius. Yeah, so I think Canada is really pretty cold at the moment. It's actually pretty cold, probably maybe 9 months in a year, I'm not too sure. It's cold to Singapore standard. Anything below 24, 23 degrees Celsius is cold in Singapore standard, and people will start to wear sweaters, right? Okay, so right now I'm just going to switch off the PID and then I'm going to start to record. Yeah. Okay, so I'm just going to start recording the roasting profile so that I can actually replicate the profile the next time. So let me remove my camera stand. I'm going to bring it closer. Right, so right now you can see the PID temperature is 180, right? It's hovering at about 180, slightly more than 180. Right, it's normal because you cannot be, the machine is not as precise as up to exact degrees Celsius. So I consider this as pretty good. Right, so you can see the heater is actually automatically adjusting the power. So it will actually hover up and down to try to maintain this temperature. So this is smart in this way. Right, so right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to PID off and I'm going to start the recording. So I'm going to press start. Right, the moment I start, right, you'll see that the graph will be starting to plot, and then I will start to press charge, and then I'll power off my heater, and then I'll be dropping the 500 grams of beans inside the hopper. Right, let's close the top hatch. And then you can see I'm actually doing a pre-soak for about a minute, right, whereby the power is off. And yep, the power is off, and you can actually monitor the time here. (47 Fahrenheit). That's very, very cold, my goodness. Right, and on the other side you can actually see the artisan graph start to plot. Right, it's almost a minute, and I'll start to power my machine to give a 50% heat first, and I'll monitor the change in the bean temperature, which is technically called the ROR. So I would like to maintain the ROR at about 13 to 14 at the initial phase. So right now you can see that the ROR is climbing quite rapidly, and I have already reached my turning point, which is about 88 degrees Celsius. Right, so you can see my ROR is climbing up. I'm going to see how high this RR is going to get before I start to increase my power of my heater. So you can see that it's climbing still, and it's climbing still quite rapidly. So I will not need to adjust my heating power. Right, so now you can see the RR is about 14 degrees Celsius per minute. Right, you can see that the RR has stopped increasing. That shows that that is probably the maximum my heating can do at 50% level. Right, so I'm pretty much satisfied at this RR at the moment. So there's no need for me to do any adjustment. And once you see that the RR start to drop, that's when you start to increase your heating power. Right, so you can see the RR is still maintained at about 14 degrees. Oh, now it's still, you can see that it's dropping down, and that's the sign whereby you need to increase the power. So I'm just going to increase by 5% and monitor is there any increase. If it is still dropping, I'll just increase by another 5%. Right, so now you can see my heater is at 60%. Right, and my RR is resuming back to about 13 degrees per minute. So we are looking at the initial phase whereby the rate of rise will be pretty high right along this time before the drying phase kicks in. Right, technically drying phase is a phase whereby the bean turns from green to yellow before getting brown. So once all the beans turn from green to yellow, right, that's what happened. That's what we call the drying phase. And after drying phase, we have to step down the power so that we want to extract the sweetness from the coffee beans. And if you have too high an RR at the second stage of the development, you may end up scorching your beans, and you may actually heat first crack pretty fast and then end up in second crack in no time, and then your beans will all be charred. And one thing good about a sniper is you can see you have this, you can actually check the status of your beans nicely here. Right, so this is actually a wash, silo wash, so you can see that the beans are still green. Right, so right now my RR is still about 14, so at 70% power is still pretty good enough. So I just like to shout out to people that have joined us. Right, I think we have the normal family here. Right, we have Morgan, right, we have Space Chef, we have Justin, we have Andre, we have Uncle Notes. I'm probably this is my first time seeing you. We have Kelly. We have Sino Art, and we have Arujan. I hope I spell your name correctly. We have Hun. We have Fendi. We have Indra. We have Linda. We have Brain Bash Sherelle. I hope I get it right. We have Mohammed. Yep. So, and we have Henry Ping Pong. Okay. And we have Hesse Move 1. We have Henry and Thomas, of course. Lee Nuts. Yep. Okay. So and Roger, and Wayne for joining us. BNJ Rules. Right. So right now you can see that my temperature is reaching dry end. Right. The dry end has recorded. So right now I just want to do a quick check. Right. You can see most of the beans are already turned yellow. And you can see that the power is now dropping, which is good because I want to control this at about 12. So I'll just let it drop slowly. Right, so I'm not going to adjust the power. I'm just going to allow the power to maintain steady. If it drops below 12, then I'll increase my heating power again. So I usually monitor the heating power and relate it to the change in blue bean temperature, which is called the RR. Right, so 13 is actually pretty good. So I'm just going to let it continue to rise. And of course at the same time you can actually check the condition of the beans. Right. So our bean temperature is now hitting 162. And later on you'll see that the beans will start to smoke around here. And that's when I will start to switch on the exhaust power to draw the smoke out through the window, so that my beans will not have a smoky taste. And it is quite obvious because right now there's a little bit of smoke. I'm not too sure whether you can see on the camera. This is not really that bad. You will get a little bit more smoke later on when the temperature reaches around 180 degrees Celsius, and that's when you actually need to switch on the exhaust and then pull the smoke out from your coffee roaster. Okay, I'm going to reduce the power slightly. Okay, actually there's no need to. It's dropping down to about 12. And my bean temperature is reaching about 175. Oh, I can hear the first crack. That's the first bean, so I'm not counting this as the first crack. I'm just going to wait for a short while. I'll bring my camera closer so you can hear the sound. Yep, I think first crack has happened. So let's click the first crack. And once you click the first crack, it will start to show the percentage development here. Right, and I'm going to aim about 15% development here. So it is very convenient because you know your first crack is 8 minutes and 22. So if I'm going to wait for 1.5 minute drop, I'm aiming at about probably 10 minutes. So that's how I usually plan my roasting. And at the same time, even though I say I want about 1.5 minutes before I drop the beans, at the same time I'm looking at the percentage development here, because it's a very good indication how dark my roasting is going to be. You can hear the sound of the beans cracking. Pretty nice and even. So you can see it's already smoking, so I'm going to pull out the exhaust. Right, can you see the exhaust going out there? I'm not too sure whether you can see. Right. So we are going at about 196 degrees Celsius now at the bean temperature. My percentage development is about 14 already. So we are reaching about 10 minutes. So it's right for me to drop at around 10 minutes. So later on I will show you the drop. So now we are hitting about 10 minutes. So now I'm going to drop the beans now. Okay, you can see I have a little bit of beans drop outside. You can see how smoky it is. And then what happened is now I'm going to transfer this to a cooling tray. So this is a cooler to actually cool down my beans. Yep, it is very even. So you can see the beans are very evenly roasted. So it takes about 10 minutes to roast the coffee beans. This is good for espresso. On camera it looks a bit lighter, but in actual fact the beans is actually, I will consider this as closer to medium roast, about 16% development. Right, so while the bean cools, I'll go on to prepare the machine for the second auto roast function. So let's go back here. Let me get rid of all the beans here. Okay, the beans that drop outside is actually not too bad. So I think this is quite okay. And right now I have to close the hatch. And then I will show you where the shaft has been, the coffee shaft is being collected. All the shaft is collected here. So there's actually very minimal shaft that's been collected, drop. So now you can see that this profile is being recorded, and right now I will say cool end, means that I have already dropped the beans and cooled the bean properly, and then I will click off. Right now the temperature is still going up, so I'm going to off the heater. Let's reset. Let's save this profile right under M10. Right, so I'm just going to name this as Colombian 500 gram, right, 500 gram at about 16% development. Right, so I'll save this profile, and then you can see the whole thing will be reset. Okay, right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to control the temperature going back to 180 degrees Celsius. So I'm going to off the heater first, right, because now I'm going to use PID to control the temperature. You can see that now the temperature go up to 240 degrees Celsius is way too high. So I'm just going to cool down my machine by opening the hatch here so that the temperature can drop down, right. And right now what's going to happen is because I'm going to, you can see the beans that stays inside there for quite some time. It has already turned dark. Right, this is what happens when you roast past 240 degrees Celsius. The beans becomes really dark and oily. Right, so you can see this is actually oily beans and dark. Alright, so now let's do a PID again. Off the dam, which is actually the exhaust fan. And then I'm going to control my maximum temperature to 180 degrees Celsius. Right, and actually what you can do is you have remember the second batch I'm going to do an auto roast. So what's going to happen is I'm going to click on roast. Right, then you can go to background and you can load the previous roasting profile that you have done. So right now I'm going to do 1 kg at 12% development. So I'm just click here. Right, and click OK. And you can see this is my previous graph. No, there was not a second crack. I pull out the beans before the second crack happened because I don't want to go beyond. And the reason why this bean is there is become charred is because the beans probably was trapped inside the drum and it continued to roast for quite some time. Right, so right now I'm just going to hit PID. Right, so you can see now I did not control my SV. So now if I hit PID, because you can see my temperature here is 181.5 degrees Celsius. So I'm just going to click PID on. And what's going to happen is you can see that now the PID will be hovering at about the drop bean temperature. So there's no need for me, right, to actually manually control the temperature to stabilize the pre-roasting condition for the roaster. So everything is automatically controlled. You can see now they drop the heating to about only 25%. And if I want to speed up at which the bean temperature drop, I can just open the front hatch. And then what I can do is I can use the exhaust fan to pull out the heat. Right, not too sure whether you can hear the sound of the fan. Right, so what happened now is the fan is drawing out the hot air inside. So you can see that my bean temperature will start to drop rather quickly. Right, I have to open the front hatch so that the cold air can go in and then the hot air can be pulled out. Right, so now you can see the RR is negative because the beans is now dropping temperature. So I'm just going to let it drop to about 170 degrees Celsius, and then I will off the exhaust fan. And then what happened is I'm going to use the auto PID function to bring the temperature up back to about 181 degrees Celsius. Yeah, so it's actually pretty technical, right, in terms of coffee roasting, because we want to achieve the consistency of the roasting. So this is some process that we have to go through. Right, so now you can see that the temperature is dropping. Right, so I'll let it drop until about 180 to about 175 maybe. Then I will close the hatch and use the PID function to stabilize the temperature. You can see the ambient temperature now is increased to about 51. So what you see on the background is my pre-recorded roasting profile. So what happened is I will probably just off the PID first and off the heater so that the temperature can drop even faster. Hi Material 5E, right, thanks for joining. Right, so right now we are waiting for the temperature to drop to below 180 degrees Celsius. Right, it's reaching there very soon. So this is some process you have to do, right, between batches, because you need to stabilize the temperature before you continue to roast again. So this is when the waiting time will be. Okay, so now it's around 180 plus degrees Celsius. So actually what's going to happen is I'm going to off the exhaust fan. Right, it will be a lot more quiet now. And I'm going to close the front hatch. And I'm going to hit PID on. So once I hit PID on, you can see that the heater will start to fluctuate and try to maintain the temperature. Right, so thank you for joining, and I'm going to continue to roast the second batch. So give me a second, I'll get my coffee beans ready. Normally this is how I pack my beans, right? So you can see it's completely vacuum sealed, right? It's hard as a rock. So whenever my fresh stock arrive, I'll pack them in a 1 kg packaging like this, because my roaster is actually limited at 1 kg capacity. So usually I'll pack at 1 kg and I can just drop the whole bags inside. Hi Bert. Yeah, so now oh, your internet. Okay, so now it's climbing a bit too high, so I will be waiting for a little longer for the temperature to drop. The brand of the machine is called Kaleido, right? You can see from there. Hi Bert. Right, and this is the model called the not too sure whether you can pick up by the camera. It's called the Kaleido Sniper M10. And this is the Pro Edition, whereby you can actually do the recording of the roasting profile, and then you can replicate the roasting. Right, so this is still a bit too high. So this is when you have to wait in between the roast, so that the temperature is really stabilized. Of course, you can manually control this if you have no patience to wait for the temperature to drop. What you can do is you can off the PID. So because I don't want to waste your time, so I'm going to drop the temperature down. So I'll off my heat, and I will manually control the temperature to be at about 180 degrees Celsius, and then I will drop the beans. So right now you can see that my RR is decreasing. I hope the internet for Kelly is working out. Okay, so you can see that now the temperature is dropping, and while it drops, I'll cut the bag open and get ready for the second batch of roasting. Let me set the camera back to the stand. Okay, so right, we are more or less ready. So now I'll be waiting for the temperature to drop around 180 degrees Celsius, and then I will start to auto roast. So let me bring you closer. Right, you can see that now the temperature is about 184. So once it hit about 183 or 82, I'll start. Remember, before you go on to auto roast, you have to PID off first. Otherwise, your temperature will be kept at 181. Right, so now I will start. Once you start, you click charge, and then you click PID on. Right, so everything, the temperature will try to follow. So now let's drop the beans. Oops. Right. Okay, so now what happened is the computer will take over, and now I don't have to do anything. You will just follow the roast profile. Right. The dark blue color is the existing profile. The light blue color curve is actually the old profile that I pre-recorded. So now what happened is it will just auto roast for me, following exactly the same parameters as I have previously set. And this is now, you can sit back and relax and see the roasting profile. Kelly, now I have to roast every day because now my orders comes in every day, and we are micro roasters. So what it means is we do not roast in big batches, right? We do not roast if there's no order that comes in. This roaster is actually the Kaleido M10 Sniper. Let me show you again. Right, so this is the brand. It's called Kaleido Sniper M10. Yep, correct. I think Andre got, is it Andre? Andre got the bullet, right? Or is it, I can't remember, is it Andre or is it Mike? I think it's, I can't remember. Yeah, so now, let me show you. Hi Dane. Okay, Dane is coming on.
See what? How you doing, man?
Hey, hi Dane.
Sorry, I've just been
It's
with
good
some
that you're here. Yeah.
Oh, good.
So right now, let me show you. I'm doing the auto roast now.
Oh,
So you can
nice.
see that it is following the exact profile
Yeah.
of my previous recording. So this is
Okay,
really
yeah.
cool. Yep.
That looks awesome, man.
Yep. So you basically don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
It will also switch on the fan to pull out the exhaust because you have already pre-recorded that.
Yeah.
Yep. So pretty much you don't have to do anything now. You just have to wait for the bean to drop.
Awesome, man.
Yeah. So later on you can go and see the recording and how I actually do the temperature control.
Okay.
So it's actually pretty easy. You can see that it is very, very close to the previously recorded profile.
Yeah. Yeah, very
So
close.
it's actually very good. Yeah, it's very, very consistent.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you doing some cleaning?
Mate, I started opening it up for the first time, so I haven't opened it yet.
Okay, okay. Yeah, it's actually a few bolts and nuts, and that's it.
Yeah. I've taken off so 4 bolts here, or 4 screws here.
Yeah, correct. That's to remove the front
Oh,
panel.
it's off now. There we go. It did come off. Cool, man.
Oh,
I thought it's not coming off, but it came off.
Yeah, okay.
I'll remove it. One sec. What about the thermocouple? Does that just slide out? That one?
Yeah, just slide out. You can just pull it out. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Andre got the booster from Ilio. Right, so yeah, it's another very neat and good machine, right? Very comparable to the M10 Sniper Pro.
Yeah.
Right, so you can see how close the profile is. It is matching exactly to my previous roasting profile.
Actually, I can't slide that out because there's a bit of metal inside. Can I bend that metal?
You may have to. I am not too sure whether there's a screw. No, it should be able to pull out. I think maybe you have to
Actually,
use
that's
something like a
It
plier
was
to pull that.
see where my
Okay,
finger
so
goes, that bit of metal. I had to bend that.
yeah, that's the thermocouple. You may have to push it in a little bit.
You had to bend it straight because it was like on a right.
Yeah. But don't worry, those thermocouple props are very very cheap to get.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you
Okay, let's
replaced
look at
yours?
No, I'm not replaced mine after roasting for about a year.
Yeah, I think it's fine. I'm happy with.
Yeah,
with
and
mine.
the only thing I replace on this machine is the coupler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I'll put this down for a sec. I'll move this cover.
Yeah. The coupler is actually at the back. Right. Right now, I'm not too sure whether you can see. Let me see whether you can see. You can see that the coupler has been changed to a metal one. Yeah, that's actually the coupler.
Oh, that thing. Okay, hang on. So where are you looking? Through the back part.
At the back. At the back. You know that's where the exhaust is, right?
Yeah.
Yep. If you look at the back, yep, you can see there's a blue color thing on the coupler. That means yours is the older version.
Tell me if you can see.
Can you see that? Maybe you need a torchlight to pick it.
maybe I need a torch.
Yeah.
Maybe this side. Let's see this side.
Yeah. Ah, yes.
Need a torch, yeah?
Yeah, I think you need a torch.
Hang on, one sec. I'll get a torch. Sorry about my video, guys.
No problem. Right, but well, there is a way you can see how close the roasting profile is. Right, it's trying to match up to my previously roasting profile very nicely. Right, and it's reaching dry end pretty soon. So let's check the condition of the beans. Right, you can see it's turning slightly yellowish. And I'm not doing anything. Basically, the computer is taking over the control. Dry end has already reached. He has documented dry end to be about 147 degrees Celsius. And previous recording is 147.1. And there was a lag of maybe 8 seconds. So the computer lagged behind my previous roasting by 8 seconds. So this is pretty close. And probably that's the best you can get for matching your previous roast profile. So you can see once you set the profile there, right, and once you get the profile dialed in, it's very easy to replicate. And this is really good for small business like us, right? We can get the consistency we want, right? We don't have to depend on manual roasting.
Hey, CY.
Yeah.
Sorry about the videoing, everyone.
Yeah.
I think mine's metal. Is it? Hang on. Can you see? I don't know if you can see, but can you see that?
Oh, yours is already the metal one.
You're talking about, like, it kind of looks like a big screw on the back, yeah, where the motor connects.
Yes, that's the one. That's the one.
Hang on, can you see that? I'm pretty sure
Coupler that holds the motor. Is it blue in color? If you can see, if it's blue means yours is the plastic one.
it's silver.
Silver means you're good to go, man.
Can you see that? There.
Yeah, it's silver. I can see that.
Yeah.
So you don't have to upgrade yours. Yours will gonna last forever.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah, mine was the older batch than yours. Mine probably is probably 6 to 9 months older than yours. So mine comes with the plastic one, which is really bad in quality.
Yeah. Okay, that's good to know because I did read about that.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can see how close the profile is going to. It's actually copying my profile. In fact, it's overlapping. Can you see that?
Yeah, man, that's awesome.
Yeah, you can see how close the profile is. It matches
Sorry about
all
that,
the way,
guys.
and we are reaching first crack pretty soon.
Man,
About
I need to get
180
my iPhone set up.
You have to.
Yeah.
Let me know when you are doing roasting. I can guide you step by steps.
I'm gonna be roasting. I'm gonna do some today, but today I'll go manual. Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe
You
just,
record one really done.
Sorry.
You have to do the recording properly because your artisan is going to follow your profile. So
Yeah,
make sure you have to. The most important is your charge temperature. You must remember to set the charge temperature.
Yeah.
You must remember to click the charge when you want to do the proper recording. And after that, you must follow. The computer will try to anticipate the dry end for you. Oh, I can hear the first crack exactly at 188 degrees Celsius. Yep. You can see first crack happened. Auto recorded. The difference in temperature is only 0.2 degrees Celsius different.
Perfect.
And you can see the first crack happened at exactly the same timing.
Man, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's really, really very precise.
Andre, I don't have Artisan set up yet.
Yeah, okay. You have received the profile that I sent to you, right?
Yeah.
I'll be sending you another one for the M2 because M2 works better than M10 in terms of artisan setting.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'll be sending you another file later on for you to try.
All right.
Now we are waiting for the drop. My drop temperature is 205. Once you reach a drop, it will start to ask you to manually drop the bins. So this is the only part whereby you have to do manually. You can see that the exhaust is also automatic. It's pulling out the exhaust.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow, you get a lot of smoke, man. I get like no smoke, man.
You can see how smoky that is.
Man, I get no smoke when I roast.
Okay, so we are almost there. It will start to flash. Okay, done.
I think you get more smoke because of the humidity as well.
Yeah.
Singapore, right?
Probably. Is your area pretty dry?
Melbourne is very dry, man.
I think that's probably the reason.
Still hot though. Today we have it's about 28 degrees. Here you go. I'll show you outside.
Okay. So let me get the cooler ready.
Here you go. You can see clear sky today.
Yep, it's really nice, beautiful weather.
Yeah, nice weather. So I got my little roasting table here. Hey, CY. M. Hossin, I'm not sure where you're based, but if you want to get this roaster, CY is an agent for them. You can buy them directly from CY.
Yeah, what do you say? Just now, sorry, I was away.
There was someone in the chat who's interested in where to get this roaster, and I said that you sell it.
Yeah, but we actually supply internationally as well.
Yeah. Just so you know, I'm based in Australia, and I got mine from. I'm in Melbourne as well, in Houston. I got mine from CY as well. So he organised mine.
So right now I have this big cooler.
Ah, nice, man.
Yeah. So you can see it's pretty consistent.
Yeah, nice.
Yep.
Perfect, man.
Yep, it's really good. So now we just let it cool, and then we go back to our machine. Where you can see it's pretty smoky here. I'll be getting some fan to pull out the exhaust to the outside.
Yeah.
So now you can see the good thing about Artisan is once you heat the temperature, it will auto cool down the machine for you.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, so if you have forgotten to switch off the power, you don't have to worry because now the power is at the minimum setting of 25%.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you will drop to the temperature that you previously set at 181, and you will auto get ready for the second batch of roasting.
Awesome, man.
Yep. So pretty
Dude,
much that's.
mate, I have to get that set up. I'm gonna reach out to you.
Yeah, you have to. You have to. So you
Yeah.
can see how easy the machine is and how smart the machine is actually.
Yeah.
As long as you develop a good roasting profile, it is going to be quite easy from then onwards.
Hey, see what I saw on the Toledo YouTube, right?
Yeah.
That they take this out and they wash it in like bicarb soda, but I think that's a bad idea, right?
Yeah, it is.
Because you should leave it seasoned, right?
Yeah.
As
I
long
will
as you
leave it
brush
seasoned. I'll probably not clean it as much. And I don't think you roast beyond second crack, right? Do you?
Nah.
That means your drum will be slightly brownish, and that's perfectly okay.
Yeah, it's slightly brown, but it's fine. Like I just brush it clean.
You can just use those brass brush to sort of scrub it a little bit.
Yeah,
I think that should be good. Yep.
that's what I was thinking. Because I don't think it's good to use a bicarb
Yeah,
soda. I think it'll take away the
unless you go dark,